Hey Ben, Mr. Y here. I'm just going to walk you through the styles on the drum set solo this year. I don't know if you've already done this with your drum teacher. If you have, feel free to ignore all this stuff. Okay, but I just want to make sure we have all the bases covered so you can start to practice these various styles as you do your drum set solos too. Your drum set solo too. For NYSSMA on level 2, which is hot tubs, which is your solo, they have you do 3 different what's called styles on drum set. And the way you do them is you play the way it's written here. You play the way it's written in the thing, and you should have the sheet by now. I sent it to your mom, and I'll send it to you too if you want. But there's the swing and the rock and the cha-cha. Those are the 3 styles you have to do this year. The swing is actually pretty easy. It's not too bad at all. The rock is pretty easy too. The cha-cha I'm going to have to work on before I can show this to you. And again, if your drum teacher's already told you this, already gone through all this, that's totally fine. He or she is going to be a lot better at the cha-cha than I am, at least, and I'm sure the other stuff too. Rock and swing, of course, I kind of grew up with in my ear. You know, I hear that stuff all the time. But the cha-cha, the Latin drumming and the Afro-Cuban kind of drumming, I didn't really grow up listening to that, so it's not as easy for me. It is, I think, also the hardest kind of drum setting there is, for me at least. So, the swing, you can see it says level 2 to 4. This is one that you do in swing. There's a whole bunch of text there that you can read, of course, but basically what it boils down to is you're going to play at 96 beats a minute, which is this right here. Come on, 96, there we go. It's a fairly slow swing. You can see there's just a hi-hat or ride cymbal part. I'm going to play it on the ride cymbal, okay, up on the top. Actually, sorry, it's not a hi-hat or ride cymbal. It's got to be a ride cymbal because the bottom is the hi-hat with the foot, of course, on 2 and 4. Okay, so we basically got here 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1. You know, a nice simple beat. The idea on the drum set styles is you're going to play 4 measures of what's called time, that right there, 4 measures of that, and then do 4 measures of an improvised solo, ending on the first beat of the 9th measure. Okay, so you got to keep really close track here, stay in tempo, and just do you know, exactly the right number of stuff, number of measures, of course. So, for instance, it might be something like, let me just try it. Okay, 1, 2, ready, and 1. Try that again. Got a false start. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now solo. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to end right on that first beat of the 9th measure. Okay, that's exactly where you stop right there. Your solo is obviously going to be a lot better than mine. I was just filling the time. But the important point is to get exactly the right number of beats in there and land on the right spot to end. That's the same is true in jazz band, of course. What's not so important is the solo. I mean, you can do whatever you want on the solo, but it is really important that you get back to the downbeat in the next measure so the rest of the band can come in. And I think that's kind of the skill they're looking for here, okay, to be able to do that. The rock and roll one is a little bit faster. It's 112 beats a minute, you can see. Let me adjust here. What's wrong with my metronome here? Hang on just 1 sec. Let me try this again. You can see though, it's basically you've got some bass drum stuff and some hi-hat stuff and some snare drum stuff on 2 and 4. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Basic beat there with the hi-hat stuff. And then again, of course, you're going to play 4 measures of solo with a rock and roll kind of feel to it. So. And you end right on the 9th beat again. Okay, so let me do another one of those. I'll start at the beginning of the beat, the time. Remember, you're going to do 4 measures of time and then 4 measures of solo. Okay. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and ready and 2. 3, 4. And you end right on the 9th measure there, right in the downbeat of the 9th. Okay, that's the important part. Okay, the cha-cha, Ben, I'm going to have to get back to you on because this is not something that comes very easily to me. Again, if your drum teacher's already done this, that's totally cool. He or she is going to be much better at the cha-cha than I am anyway, I'm sure. Because drummers do that kind of thing all the time. And she or he is a real drummer, and I'm not a real drummer. So, Do the best you can. Get going on this stuff. Of course, I'm going to want to hear the solo pretty soon too. I mean, you've been working on it a lot during class and that kind of stuff. But I'm interested in you playing it for me too. You know, I want to hear you. Okay, just to hear how you're going. Okay, good luck.